Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video we have a new Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quad to review. Charlotte Tilbury has not launched eyeshadow quads for a while, but she just recently surprised us with the launch of the new Charlotte Tilbury Queen of Luck eyeshadow quad. And so in today's video I'm going to be showing you it, we'll swatch it, we'll create a look with it, and we will do some palette comparisons and swatch comparisons as well with some other of the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quads that I have in my collection, because this one does look oddly familiar with some other of the quads that she has previously released. I'm super excited to get into today's video. The little quad looks very promising, so if you're excited, give the video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get started. Here's the new Queen of Luck luxury quad from Charlotte Tilbury out of the box, and it looks just like the rest of the Charlotte Tilbury quads in the collection. Once you open it, here is the inside of it. This is a pretty pale, pretty natural, pretty everyday looking eyeshadow quad, and it looks very similar to Celestial Pearls, I believe it is. Yes, Celestial Pearls, which was a limited edition holiday palette that might still be available. But the thing that I liked about this one just a little more is that the Celestial Pearls quad, which was a holiday eyeshadow quad, did not have any mattes in it. And in this new one, we do have a matte shade to play with, and so I'm very excited to get into it, to create a look, and to swatch the quads side by side to see just how similar they really are. So take one last up close look at the beautiful eyeshadow quad right here, and let's go ahead and go for the swatches. First we have the prime shade, which is this very pearly light champagne type color, and this one swatches kind of like a regular shimmer would. Then we have the enhanced shade right here, which is a beautiful duochrome shimmer which has pink and gold sparkles in it. The third color is the pop color, which is like a shadow topper type product. It's meant to be on the sheer side and a bit more sparkly than the rest, and it's also meant to be layered with the other shimmers in the palette. And then lastly, the matte eyeshadow from this one, which is the smoke shade. Let me grab just a little bit more so that it swatches better. Check it out right here. These are all four of the shadows swatched on the back of my hand. As per usual, the downside with Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quads is definitely the price, because the price is a bit on the steep side. These retail for $55 each. However, I will say that they are very convenient because they fit everywhere, they travel very well, and also very easy to use. I used to work for a Charlotte Tilbury counter, and I can tell you that it was very easy to teach people to use their Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows, because she makes them so that the quality is so soft and so that the shades are so blendable that anyone, even if you don't have any experience with makeup at all, can create a beautiful eyeshadow look with these, because the shadows just kind of do the job for you. And she also gives you instructions back here on what to do with the shades. I got you guys just a little closer, and as you can see, my makeup is pretty much already done today. I even have mascara on, so I'm going to just work around it with my brushes, because I was filming another video earlier today, and in this one I just really wanted to focus on the eyeshadow quad. I am going to start by using the color Smoke back here, and I'm using a Refer number 1 brush for this, and I'm just going to add smoke to the crease of my eye. And you can see, even though it looks really light on the pan, you can see that it's pretty pigmented back here. So with my fluffy brush, I'm just going to blend it out and bring it in all the way. I always start by placing the color on the back half of my eye so that it fades in as I blend. So check it out right here, just very easily, fully blended all the way in. And I'm going to just repeat over on this side, of course. And so here's that matte color fully blended on both eyes, on both creases, if you will. I'm going to then get this shade right here. This is the shade Enhance, and this is the one that I'm going to put all throughout the center of my eyelid, and I'm just going to stamp it in place with my finger right here. And take a look at how you can now see the duochrome of it. When I showed you it swatched earlier, you could only kind of see the gold, but now on my eye you can actually see the pink reflex of this eyeshadow. Very pretty. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. With a reference number 2 flat brush, I'm going to grab this shade right here, and this is going to be the shade in the inner corner. This is the prime shade on this palette. I'm going to put it on the inner corner and bring it around halfway in through the crease, just to define things a little bit better here. And repeating on this side. We only have one shade left to use, and that is our pop shade, which I'm also going to apply with my finger right here in the center of the enhanced shade. Just patting that color in place right there for a little bit extra glitter, a little bit extra contrast as well with that pink shimmer. See how this one only looks pink and this one looks kind of pink and gold now, and you can see the sparkles a bit better. I do feel like I need to blend things back here just a tad bit more. So with my blending brush, I'm going to once again grab the matte shade and I'm going to pat it over the outer third of my eyelid. And this way the matte will blend in better with the shimmer shades. And then for the under eyes, I'm just going to use the matte color on a very small blending brush and back and forth smoke out my lower lash line. This is a Refer 13 mini that I'm using. The regular Refer number 13 will work as well, or any small blending brush you might have. So take a look right here before I go on with any eyeliner. Here's what these shadows look like blended. And you can see that I already have mascara on, so we have that step out of the way. I am going to use a Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner that I love for this video, which is the double-ended one. And I'm going to go in with the brown side and just intensify my waterline with it. Here you have it, eyeliner versus no eyeliner, if you want to see a comparison. And so here's the final eyeshadow look with the Queen of Luck eyeshadow quad. Before I get into the comparisons, let me just go ahead and finish out my look. I have the perfect blush to apply today. This one from Charlotte Tilbury that I love. The Matte Beauty Blush one in the shade Peach Pop, because the eye look is quite peachy. So I'm just going to tap this blush on my cheek, and with my sponge I'm just going to blend it in. I applied a bit too much of it, so I'm going to retouch my bronzer in a second, but take a look right there. I'm going to just add a little bit more bronzer down here to balance it out. For the lips, I'm going with my Anastasia lip liner in the shade Mocha. This one is also a little bit on the warm side. That's the lip liner right there. And then Makeup by Mario lip balm in the shade Apricot Glow. I think it's going to be perfect. Right through the center. Just like that. Now that the look is done, let's get into the eyeshadow quad comparisons. And there is a main one that I want to do because they are very, very similar. And that is to compare the new Queen of Luck palette, which is what I'm wearing right now, to the Celestial Pearl quad that Charlotte launched a couple of years ago for the holiday season. So check them out right here side by side. As you can see, when it comes to the shimmer shades in these, they are very, very similar. And the main difference is going to be that this one has a shimmer or satin kind of looking smoke shade versus the smoke shade in the Queen of Luck palette is a true matte color. This is the prime shade from Queen of Luck versus the prime shade from Celestial Pearl. In some lights they can look very similar, but in some other lights you can see that the one from Celestial Pearl has a lot darker of a base. And it's a bit more pink rather than this very light champagne right here. Next, here's the enhanced shade from Queen of Luck versus the enhanced shade from Celestial Pearl. And these two are pretty similar. They both are a pink and gold duochrome color. I will say when I look at it right here on the back of my hand, the one from Queen of Luck is a lot more pinky, and the one from Celestial Pearl has a lot more gold in it. When it comes to the pop shades, they are very similar. Here's the pop shade from Queen of Luck, which is nice and golden and sparkly. And then the pop shade from Celestial Pearl, which is a little bit lighter, a bit more champagne rather than gold, but barely. There's very, very little differences between those two. And then this next shade, the smoke shade, is going to be where you see the biggest difference between both quads. Right here we have the matte smoke shade from Queen of Luck versus the more satin slash shimmer smoke shade from Celestial Pearl. This one almost looks bronzy in comparison because it has a more metallic finish to it. But those are the quads side by side right there. Honestly, if you love Celestial Pearl, I don't feel like you need to get the new one. They are very, very similar to one another. However, if you didn't get Celestial Pearl because maybe it bothered you that it didn't have any matte shades in it, then now you have something that looks very, very similar that does have a matte shade in it, which makes things a little bit more contrasting. I'm personally a big fan of every palette having a matte shade in it because I feel like you can get a bit more contrast as far as the texture is concerned when it comes to your eyeshadow looks, you know? So I really hope that comparison was helpful. I'm going to go ahead and put this one next to some other palettes that are not necessarily super similar to it, but that you might have in your collection for reference. Here's Queen of Luck versus Pillow Talk Dreams. The Pillow Talk Dreams quad is definitely one of my all-time favorites. And then here it is versus Exaggerize. They look kind of similar. It's like the peachy version of Exaggerize. They are pretty different as far as the eye looks you're gonna get though, because Exaggerize has this amazing cool tone pink matte that is very different from the peachy one in the new palette. Take a look right there, see? Very, very different. If this eyeshadow quad is a bit too warm for you and you wanted a cooler version of it, then Exaggerize is definitely the quad to go. Exaggerize was my absolute most favorite Charlotte Tilbury quad for the longest time, but then it got dethroned by some others, but it's still a fantastic quad and one of my favorites. So again, I feel like depth-wise, they're kind of similar to one another, but one is very peachy and the other one has a much more cool tone pinky natural color story. Here it is next to the regular Pillow Talk eyeshadow quad. So you can see the difference between these two. The Pillow Talk eyeshadow quad has a much more pinky color story to it and not a lot of depth. And then lastly, because the rest of my Charlotte Tilbury quads are very, very different from this one, here it is next to Desert Haze. Desert Haze is an all matte quad that Charlotte did a couple of years ago, but I wanted to put them next to each other because this one is pretty peachy, just like the new one has that peachy shade, so you can see the colors side by side. I'm going to swatch this one on my finger once again next to the most similar color from Desert Haze, which I think is this one right here. And the one from Desert Haze is a lot more orange, as you can see. And the one in Queen of Luck has a lot more brown in it. Those are all of my comparisons because, as I said, the rest of the quads I have in my collection are pretty different from the new one. Those are all of the ones that look even remotely close to this new quad in case you wanted to see them side by side. And that brings us to the end of this video. Do I recommend this new eyeshadow quad from Charlotte Tilbury? It depends. If you have Celestial Pearl, as I said before, you don't need it because I think they are pretty similar to one another. The main difference being that this one has a matte shade in it. So it's definitely not a necessity. If you have Celestial Pearl, I would definitely recommend that you skip this one. However, if you don't have Celestial Pearl and you are interested in this color story in particular, why not? Go for it. It has excellent quality as per usual when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury. Very easy to blend, very easy to create looks with this one, and you can create this very beautiful and glamorous, classy eyeshadow look with it as well. Is the color story super new and innovative? No, but I don't think that is Charlotte's goal with her eyeshadow quads. She wants to give you simplicity, and so that is what you're purchasing when you buy these eyeshadow quads, in my opinion. If you guys like today's video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up before you leave. If you're interested in the eyeshadow quad, please don't forget to grab it from the link in the description box below. And that is all I have for you guys today. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.